Hello, welcome to Laura's Painted Minis. I am Laura, and today we are back to the Harefolk. There we go. Get it so that it'll stay focused. And hopefully the dropped frames is already. Oh, looks like we'll see if we continue today. That I seem to be having some issues on my end. It looks like, although it seems like maybe it's clearing up. Let me know if the video is dropping frames. So pretty much down to doing the hair, the fur, and then I redo the eyes because I kind of looked at some. I happened to be reading a book for my son actually recently, and I noticed like the cartoon eyes, the way they did colored eyes was they essentially had what I then did here, where so fill the whole eye. I've still got a little bit of kind of a liner showing around it, just like normal, and then put like the regular dot like in the middle, like where you would normally, how you would normally do it, and then a little white, teeny tiny white dot for I mean, it's basically like a reflected light coming off to kind of, yeah. Alrighty. So, just double check that I think I've already done a layer with this color. Yeah. So I'm actually on third, this one. And that is a mixture of that one that I was, I need to put things down. So this third one is a mixture of wolf gray and mountain stone. So these are older bottles, so I know the labels aren't great, but it's mountain stone and wolf gray. And then for that darker color in this two, add black indigo in the mix. This one it would have been mixed with the mountain stone. And then this is mostly just wolf gray. The black indigo is because so one, I'm doing a secondary tetrad. But as you can see, there's not a ton of space. There's not a ton of things on this to paint to really get that purple in. The big option that I had considered, I think I got painted on stream last week too, was the pants. But it is for one of my player characters, so it also has to kind of fit their character's personality, background, and whatnot. And they came back kind of saying that they wanted some more neutral pants instead. So that meant getting a little creative with the purple. I mean, I could have also left the purple out completely, and it'd be fine. But I snuck it into the black, and as well as into the shadows of the fur. All right, so I already had gotten one layer of this next color that I'm doing right now on the face. It's still not staying in focus. Oh well. But it was kind of more of a wet blending at the time. I was trying to really get the shadows blocked in more so this morning, specifically around the face, because the 3D printing my friend printed it for another friend. Got a little wonky right here on the mouth. Now that I've done a little surgery with the paint job, it's definitely less noticeable until you get maybe really super close. But this right here where I just is very, it's just wonky is the best way to put it. It had some like string. I think he has a filament printer, and so that must be, so it was like pieces of the filament were kind of coming free. I don't know. He kind of warned me about it. That was happening. Coming back with the previous color. I feel like right here is a bit needing more of a transition here. I'm still contemplating doing the whole sort of pink versus like a cream. I will do a different color like on the inner parts of the ears. I'm going to leave the nose as is because actually a lot of I was looking at, that was the other thing I was contemplating. So I actually looked at some pictures just before stream. And I think especially since it's right there that got a little wonky in the printing, it's probably going to be just easier for me to just leave the nose like that instead of trying to paint like something pink. Alright, I haven't done anything with this color on here, but it is pretty small, so I probably don't need to do more than one touch with the color. The hands also got a little bit wonky. And if you're not already following my socials, or you just haven't checked them since Monday, I did get the Warthog Warrior up. Is up for sale on eBay. My Facebook would have the direct link, and I think I went ahead and added a link, just a second link separate from my link tree on the Instagram, my Instagram bio. I could just add it to the link tree and then just take it off, but I probably would forget, and then it would just sit there, which doesn't look great. Because technically I'd still have a similar problem, or could end up with a similar problem with having that separate link. But at least this way it would be more kind of in my face, so I wouldn't forget about it for too long at least. Do a little bit of blending, wet blending here. Hi there, Layla. Just trying to get at least some semblance of texture, fur texture. It's definitely where it's really helpful to have a good brush. So then you can get something that stays nice and fine, holding its point, so to speak. It allows you to have a lot better control of what I'm doing right here. Otherwise it can get frustrating pretty quick. Alrighty. Just trying to decide if I want to touch up, do a bit more on the head. I think that's good. I'm gonna do a glaze now. Mix of the two previous colors to just like one brush full of each. Well, not even a brush full, but kind of dipping my brush into each to make a glaze. It'll help kind of bring some of the shadows back in, and then I'll go back to that final color I was using and just kind of bring in back texture over just these areas that would be that would have the brightest highlight. The glaze we're going to do all over the fur, pretty much. This will also help if there are any other areas that I just didn't get blended very well in any of the previous layers. I don't think there's too much of that. I guess I forgot to do the tail with that last color, so I will skip that with the glazing. Come back to that. That was something that had actual texture sculpted, so it's not as difficult. Or I should say, if you didn't have a good brush, it wouldn't have been as it's not as difficult when it's already sculpted in. So you can still see that previous layer. You can still see the texture is just kind of toned down now a little bit. So it's not like off-white more so than a light gray. Because we're shooting for a light gray is what we're aiming for. She asked for gray. She didn't really specify. So here, let me do the tail real quick. Kind of forgot that. Alright, I'm gonna start on going back to the rest of the fur and highlighting, just getting those, picking out the highest highlights. I'll come back to the tail. Do a glaze in just a moment. And get back to the tail so that can get caught up to where I'm at with the rest of the fur and steps, so I don't end up forgetting it again. It's got that glaze on it, and that way I'll go back to the rest of the fur, just the feet, and by the time I'm done bringing the highlights up on the feet, the tail should be dry. For me to do that as well. How's everyone's week been? Has anyone gotten to do anything fun? Or anything they're looking forward to later in the week that they've got planned? I ended up having a little impromptu trip to an aquarium. It's fairly new. I guess they opened it last year. I'm in the middle of Iowa. It's the only way we have of really interacting with sea life, sea creatures. Okay. I am going to get out, let's see, it's creamy ivory that I've used in other places. And I am going to do kind of more of the, just go with an off-white for the inner ears. I kind of like how that looks. And I like how it's looking so far with going kind of a little bit lighter rather and keeping it. I think trying to do the light pink is gonna create a complication because of it being a secondary tetrad, and the light pink would be you can make it so that it's at least like a red violet, but then that's still not quite within the tetrad, within the color scheme. And doing a light purple would really I don't think that would really work. you can make it work doing the black like I did, because you don't want to do too much highlighting on black anyway, otherwise it very quickly will just look gray. Or in my case, it would look purple, like a grayish purple. I'm going to get a smaller brush out for that so I don't accidentally overload the brush. So I mixed up a mixture of creamy ivory and just brought in that wolf gray into it. I'm going to try and line a bit more around here. Oops. And I'm going to go ahead and go up to the creamy ivory, even though some of it's got a little bit messy. Just if you do a few kind of lines that aren't perfectly in the line to kind of create a little texture, especially on this side. It's kind of got a little bit on the thick side with that liner. There we go. Went a little bit too much on the, like a cat there. Mouth instead of a rabbit mouth. I wanted to accentuate the nose bit because there on some rabbits it's just a really dark, like just lines. Like it's not even an actual flat. It's not like a flat nose like you see on cats. Some rabbits do have that though, but yeah. Like I said, this just makes it so I can kind of avoid having to deal with some of the wonkiness around the mouth. Let's see. I've got enough time to at least get the eye done. I'm going to see if this pine green is dark enough compared to the other one that I can just use that, and then I'll help kind of even just add even more to being a colored eye. And it may not work just because it is kind of, it does seem to be a bit on the transparent side. So we will see here. Looking pretty good. This is just the creamy ivory. and pure wood. Try and do it just a little tiny dot on the actual dark pupil part. Just to get that kind of shininess. But before I do that, trying to determine that the eyes do actually look green still, because I kind of covered it up. I think I might actually bring in brown liner. If I have it out or not. I don't think I do. Or wait. Yes, I do, because I'm using it to base coat the trees. So the brown liner will be a lot darker than the green, so it'll kind of act as that kind of dark black spot. A lot better than the dark green. Just have to be careful. Okay, I feel like it at least kind of looks green. Kind of looks like they look like decent eyes. This is a little hard to do colored eyes at this scale. Now we're gonna try the white dot. And there we go. I think those are pretty decent. So I think we will stop there. Put like a little highlight because I think I did actually still end up forgetting the tail. There's not much that it needs. It is in shadow. So there we go. Now we're done. And we'll still need to do the base, but we are out of time there. So there we go. We've got it pretty much ready to go. Just finish the base. So you can check out all the different social links. Today will be the last day on the Warthog Warrior, so make sure you go and check that out if you were interested at all. So you should still have time because it's been Monday night that I started it, and I do it for 5 days. So I think that would mean today is the last day. Anyway, go check out Facebook and Instagram for those links to that specific listing and check that out. All right. Well, I will see you Monday, and we will be working on some more trees on Monday. Probably getting on to the bark painted or working on one of the other trees. I have 3 of these, and I'm gonna try and get done in the next couple weeks. So I will see you then. Have a good weekend. Bye.